While I love Battletech, as I mentioned before, I do have other passions. One of my passions is video games. In my Battletech history video, I mentioned I worked at Blockbuster Video back in the day, and I was the game guy. While the time and money I've had for video games has ebbed and flowed over the years, I have loved video games ever since a controller was placed in my very young hands. Something about interacting directly with what's on the screen grabbed me and never let go. I like games from nearly every age, from the earliest days of squares moving around to today's hyper-realistic games. A while back I was asked for a bucket list of games, as it were. Games I personally thought everyone should try. While video games are older, the Magnavox Odyssey is a good place to start counting, so we are coming up on the 49th anniversary of video games. Well, home gaming consoles anyway. That's right, September 1972. So why make this video now and not next year? Well, I figure I'll just get a head start on things is all. With that in mind, please enjoy my list of 10 video games, in no particular order, you should try before it's all over. The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 shocked me on both its simplicity and depth. The combat system is simple to learn, yet has so many combinations and little twerks. It flows so smoothly, it just feels good. In so many open world games, you play as generic hero number 122 with all the personality to match. In Witcher, you play as Geralt of Rivia with a story and personality that made CD Projekt Red the Anakin Skywalker of video games. A hero, the chosen one, until they turn to the dark side. But I digress. The story of Witcher 3 is second to none, and while you should play the others, you must play Witcher 3. Even the side stories and fetch quests have interesting and deep characters, more deep and more interesting than the main quests in most other games. All I have to say is, "Me pan! Fetch me pan!" When you understand that, you will understand why I say this is a must-play game. The Last of Us. While its sequel is controversial to say the least, I don't know of anyone who does not list the original as a masterpiece of gaming. To all those people out there that say video games is not art, or video games are nothing compared to film, play the first 20 minutes of The Last of Us. Forget the rest of the game for now. Just play the first 20 minutes. Done. If after that you don't count video games on the same level as movies, plays, or music as art, then you have some kind of emotional problem that needs to be checked out. The Last of Us does not have the best gameplay. It does not have the best music. It does not even have the best story or characters. What it does have are all those things done very well and all together, making the game that takes its above average parts and somehow makes a masterpiece comparable with any Moonlight Sonata, Mona Lisa, or Citizen Kane. A Legend of Zelda game. At some point you should feel the thrill of exploration and discovery in a video game. Nothing means those things more to me than Nintendo's Legend of Zelda. While most people recognize Mario as Nintendo's mascot, Link and Zelda are their greatest creation. All Zelda games are good, none are bad, but I recommend some over others. If you want a true 2D sprite adventure, I suggest A Link to the Past. It builds on the original, and in my mind, perfects the colorful 2D adventure. If you are a 3D modern game or nothing, try Ocarina of Time or Twilight Princess. Ocarina of Time remains many people's favorite and remains a standard for 3D Zelda games. Twilight Princess is darker, more adult, and beautiful on the Wii U. Just stay away from the Wii version. Breath of the Wild made a lot of new Zelda fans, and it's a great game, but its feel and play is just so different, I can't include it with the other Zelda games. Try one out, anyone, and you will be in an age of adventure. A Final Fantasy game. While far from the first JRPG, Final Fantasy really put the genre on the map. More game than visual novel, and more novel than video game, the Final Fantasy games will transport you to a world filled with characters that you will care about. If you are into classic turn-based sprite work, I suggest Final Fantasy VI, or 3 as it was called on the Super Nintendo. If you want to preserve the turn-based action, but you want a more cinematic experience, try Final Fantasy X. If you are more into action, Final Fantasy VII Remake is the way to go. Whether you try one of those or any of the others, by the end you will have made friends and will feel a tightness in your chest when it's time to say goodbye at the end of your adventure together. Super Mario Bros. 3. The ultimate expression of the 2D platformer for me is Mario 3. The challenges, the powers, the secrets, the addition of a world map, and even the original Mario Bros. Arcade game in 2-player. Everything about this game just screams perfect. Without a guide, I can guarantee you will never discover everything in this game on your own. In this instance, I will suggest you grab a copy of the SNES All-Stars version. The base NES version has some slowdown and flicker, and the increased color palette of the SNES pushes the old Mario 3 even past the, in many ways, superior Mario World. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I enjoy the occasional fighting game, and that I have some favorites over the years. Smash Bros., in my opinion, is the best fighting game ever made. Is it the best balanced? No. Does it have the best graphics? No. Does it have the best story? No way. Then why? Because it's like chess. Almost anyone can learn it in an hour, but never master it even if they play for the rest of their life. Easy enough that even children can play, but complex enough that they still use Smash Bros. Brawl in World Video Game Championships. Over the years, Smash Bros. Has become a kind of Hall of Fame for video game characters. From Capcom to SNK to Bandai Namco to Sega to Konami, and of course, the big N themselves. It should say a lot that so many different rivals, or outright enemies, have come together and contributed to make something truly amazing. Sucden II. At the time, Squaresoft, now Square Enix, ruled the world in RPGs. The original Final Fantasy VII changed the landscape of gaming. More people have told me over the past 20 years that they bought a PlayStation for Final Fantasy VII alone, more than any other console story I've ever been told. So why am I talking about some Konami game? Because Sucden II remains the finest traditional JRPG I've ever played. The characters, the story. I can't even tell you about the game without worrying about a spoiler for something. At the time, people shied away. After all, 3D models were the way of the future, and Sucden used sprites. While I love Final Fantasy, those old models have aged poorly, while Sucden sprites look amazing. The story has so many twists and turns, the minigames are all good, and I just can't heap enough praise on Sucden II. Sadly, Konami is like allergic to money or something, so getting your hands on this game will be difficult or pricey, or both. But even a well-known cheapskate like me broke open the wallet for a copy. A Dark Souls game. Girlfriend Reviews quote about Dark Souls sums it all up. Sometimes you want to beat a video game. Other times you want a video game to beat you. At a time when games were becoming press X to win, self-playing tutorial-heavy experiences, From Software came along and dropped the Souls game on the industry. The mega fans will be quick to point out that Demon Souls came first, and there is a remake on PS5 out there. By all accounts, it is amazing. I can't speak for that game since, only royalty can get their hands on a PS5. I can say I have played most of the Soulsborne games, and I have a different view than most. I enjoy the slow, methodical, and careful gameplay of Dark Souls 1 and 2. For those with super reflexes to get in there and go nuts with Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3, more power to you. But I will stick with the more tactical and careful movement of the originals. Dark Souls is known not only for its harsh gameplay, but also its storytelling, or rather lack of storytelling. The world is the story, and it's your job to understand it. No villain in these games is going to monologue you to death. Quite the contrary, the characters in Dark Souls rarely say more than a sentence or two, if you don't count the half-mad laughter. Seriously, if you want the thrill of rock climbing and a runner's high, beat a boss in Dark Souls. You will understand. A Metal Gear game. In a time of platformers, beat-em-ups, and adventure games that trained us to run full speed and kill everything in our path, Hideo Kojima had other ideas. There are those out there that will remember the US, NES, Metal Gear, and Metal Gear 2. These versions of the game they are kinda, sorta, not really based on are worth playing, but are not real Metal Gear games. The first real Metal Gear game we got in the West was Metal Gear Solid, and it remains one of my favorite games of all time. To that point, games had trained me to engage every enemy there was. It was a shock to discover a game that wanted me to be a sneaky bastard. And it's the name of the game. Avoid conflict until you gain enough weapons, equipment, and experience you need to be the super soldier everyone claims you are. While any Kojima-made game is worth playing, I suggest either Metal Gear Solid or Metal Gear Solid 3. Both serve as a good entry point into the series, whether it's the first game in the timeline with Metal Gear Solid 3, or the first game released in the West with the original. All that, and I've never even commented on the story. Now that's a rabbit hole to fall down. If you are a fan of covert military movies, Metal Gear will not disappoint you. Play it now. A 4 or more player beat-em-up game. Okay, I am cheating here, but I have no choice. I'm a huge fan of beat-em-ups, or brawlers, or scrolling fighting games, or whatever you want to call them. Something about you hitting the streets and just kicking the shit out of all the punks you see. Combine that with 3 or more of your best friends working together, or not, and you have hours of fun. Everyone should enjoy that at some point in their lives, whether it's at the arcade, in your living room, or however you can make it work. Get some friends together and play the game. I have some suggestions. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Uncanny X-Men, Dungeons & Dragons Mystara, or The Simpsons are all good choices, depending on what flavor you and your friends enjoy. If you can find a way, and you've got the friends, the 6-player, double-screen Uncanny X-Men is the way to go. Bad translation and all. If not, choose one of the others and work together to stomp those punks. Well, those are my top 10, but you know me, I can't leave well enough alone. I have 2 honorable mentions here. If you're a horror fan and you've not played the Fatal Frame games, play them. I kinda laughed when I was told about them. I thought, ooh, a girl with a camera, scary. Then, Fatal Frame 1 and 2 changed my mind. Something about the games are just creepy, and they suck you in. Don't read about them, don't look anything up. Go in as blind as you can. They are that good. My other little cheat is a fan-made game. Streets of Rage Remake remains my favorite beat-em-up game ever, bar none. Not every piece of art has to come from professionals. Quite the contrary. Passion and talent will show through when budgets and professionalisms might not be up to par. After playing a good fan game, you will understand why I believe the indie industry will surpass the so-called AAA gaming very soon. Go out there and find a game made by fans for fans. They might be a little rough around the edges, or a challenge to get working, or if the lawyers have their way, nearly impossible to get your hands on at all. Yet you will be shocked to find how talented and committed some people can be, and what they can achieve. Now, I'd like to give you all a little extra surprise, a return of sorts that some of you have been asking for. I hope you enjoy.
Hi everyone, this is Anime Jenny here with Dream Made Productions, and my own top 10 list of video games to play before you die. So without any waiting, here is my list in no particular order. Shadow Hearts 1 and 2. Shadow Hearts is a series of RPGs that I feel have flown under the radar for a lot of people. When they think of hearts and RPGs, they think of Kingdom Hearts, not these underrated set of games. With a unique Judgment Ring system that deals with timing to win battles, a moody, dark atmosphere, and a great cast of characters, Shadow Hearts needs to be experienced by all. Just make sure to play 1 and 2 together to get the complete story. The Nier series. Nier is a strange beast. With now 2 games to play through, I had a hard time deciding if you should play these games. They can feel heavy-handed at times and can get repetitive with the multiple playthroughs. So why are they on my list? Well, it's for the great combat, interesting plot, and the god-tier music. Just something about these games had me playing to get every ending and see how things would turn out. Plus, 2B's butt is definitely worth checking out. A Shin Megami Tensei game. Shin Megami Tensei really needs no introduction. There are so many great games in the series, but what ones should you really try before God causes the apocalypse? Well, I think Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2 are a great jumping off point. It has a good story, the battle system is turn-based with easy to follow skill tree, and music to blow your eardrums out. If high school is more your thing, then you can't go wrong with Persona 3, 4, or 5. All are really a joy to play. Hades. Hades surprised me. I thought the die to start again mechanic of the game would piss me off, but I found that every time I died, there was a new item or weapon to gain, or a new plot thread waiting for me back in the Hall of Hades. The characters have stuck with me for months now, and they just felt so real, with them remembering how I died, items that I was carrying, and things that I had done with other characters. Plus, the game's soundtrack is just fantastic. I've still been listening to it non-stop for months. The combat is fast, it's fun, plus easy for someone like me who's not really the best at games to just pick up and play. This is a must-try game in my book. Yakuza Zero. Yakuza Zero was a game I saw explode in popularity with everyone a buzz about it online. I was undecided if I should try it, thinking the combat would be too hard, or a tale of Japanese gangsters would be hard to follow or too dark for me. Man, I was wrong though. Kiryu and Mijima's story takes you on a roller coaster ride from start to finish, and the combat makes you feel like a total badass. Plus, Zero is just a great jumping in point to learn about the characters and their struggles. Now that I've finished every Yakuza game, Zero to Like a Dragon, I can say Yakuza should not be missed. Ghost of Tsushima. I worried about putting Ghost of Tsushima on my list, due to it being a new PS4 game, but I can't deny how much I enjoyed my time with the game. Combat was fast, brutal, bloody, and most of all, it was fun. I felt like the game didn't waste my time. Missions with other characters deepened my understanding of them. Side quests helped me gain a new skin or a move to use in combat. And man, the visuals. are another thing I always remember when I think about this game. They are just, in one word, breathtaking. I just think it's a game that you need to experience with an excellent story and fleshed out set of characters. Ghost of Tsushima should be on your list to play. Ys 8. Ys 8 was my first Ys game, so I'm probably being a little biased with this entry. I went into Ys 8 not really loving the graphics. I kept thinking, this is on the PS4, but it looks like a PS2 game. But it was the characters, and them having to work together that really hooked me. The thought of them being trapped on a mysterious deserted island had my mind swimming with what awaited them. Plus, the gathering items to build your main base and exploring the island was a joy to do. Combat was fast, fun, with switching between characters to win a battle. Plus the music, my god, is it amazing. Just go and listen to Sunshine Coastline and tell me you won't be listening to it on repeat. Plus, I can say it's one of the few games I played through again on hard mode, which is rare for me. So if that's not a recommendation to try Ys 8, I don't know what is. Lunar Silver Star Story. Lunar was a game I loved back in the day on the PlayStation, but it's a game I don't hear many mention today. I guess since the series has been dead for so many years. But I look back at the game with fond memories. Yeah, the game's battle system is simple and characters don't learn a lot of skills, but I think this is a must-try game for its lovable cast and story about love conquering all. I wanted to put a game on the list that is about returning to a simple time of before microtransactions, a million map markers, tons of empty side quests, and a big open world. Just you, the player, as Alex, a young boy trying to become the next Dragon Master. Lunar isn't the best RPG, but it does go back to a simple time where story and characters are what really matters, and I think it should be tried before you die. Xenoblade Chronicles. Xenoblade 1 is a game that I never knew about until its new release on the Switch. I picked it up since I try to grab any RPG I can, and Xenoblade looked like it would just hit different. With more of a sci-fi and mecha feel, I was ready for a decent RPG, but what I got was so much more. The cast became one of my favorites, and the story took twists I didn't really see coming. I loved how Shulk's ability played into combat, and combat itself can be a love it or hate it one. But it can be challenging on even normal mode if you're not on your A game. Maps you explore are vast, with tons of things to do, and harder versions of enemies to fight. Plus, it has a great soundtrack to boot. Xenoblade should be on your list to try before you leave this world. Octopath Traveler. Octopath Traveler was a game Square Enix didn't put much faith into, as they thought RPGs were dead and people that play RPGs don't want turn-based combat. They were proven very wrong when it sold out of the collector's edition, and even the standard edition was hard to find. Octopath Traveler has wonderful sprite work, an interesting cast, and some of the best music I have had the pleasure of hearing in a while. The combat, with its boost-type battle system, is a joy to play, where even a mage attacking with a staff is deadly. I do agree the story of the characters should be more connected, with more conversations between them would have been great. But what's here is amazing and should be experienced. Octopath Traveler should be on your bucket list to try before darkness comes for you. And here are my honorable mentions. Legend of Dragoon. Legend of Dragoon is another RPG I feel doesn't get much love outside of people who still want a remaster of this underrated gem. With a decent cast and a funny script, plus the ability to become a badass Dragoon warrior, it should be on your list to try. Valkyria Chronicles. Valkyria Chronicles is so forgotten about by most that it hurts me physically. With a mature story and a cast you grow to care about, it should be talked about more often. Plus, the great strategy combat and driving your own tank puts this on the try list. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Symphony of the Night is a game I played so many times and own 3 copies of. One of my favorite pieces of Castlevania lore to experience, and with Alucard as the main hero, this is a game that needs to be played countless times.
Well, I hope you enjoyed Jenny's return to the channel. In case the name was not enough to give it away, Jenny is something of an anime fan, and so am I. Jenny is also a cosplayer, so if you would like to see some of her work, please visit her Facebook page, Final Limit Break Cosplay, linked in the description. Jenny was kind enough to provide a digital copy of the anime series Gleipnir to give away. We have watched Gleipnir, and it is a cool series. A boy has a strange secret. So far, he has been careful enough to keep his power hidden, until a busty and bossy girl finds out about it. He just wants to be normal. She just wants revenge. Now they have to work together to survive long enough to uncover the truth behind his mysterious power. Be warned, this anime is not for the faint of heart or the easily offended. We only have one Funimation digital copy code here, so if you are interested, drop me an email. Jenny will roll some dice, and whoever wins gets a free code. I'll announce the winner on Battle Report 28, so get those emails into me. It's dreammadeproductions@gmail.com. If you miss out, don't worry. Jenny said she will be giving away codes for more cool anime in the future. On that note, please help the channel grow. I still have this 100 sub giveaway here, and we are getting close. When we get to 90, I'll let you know what it is. And once we cross that triple digits, I'll be shipping this thing out to a lucky winner. Then start working towards that big 1,000 giveaway. I hope you enjoyed our little lists. Hopefully, it shed some light on some cool games for you. Thank you again for giving us the opportunity to entertain you. And as always, I hope you enjoy the battle reps that are to come.